The Crimean War. The Crimean War occurred partly as a result of Russian efforts to gain authority over the Greek Orthodox subjects of the empire who were treated as second-class citizens. For centuries, there had been issues over the rights of Christian minorities in the Holy Land, the French promoting the rights of Roman Catholics, and the Russians championing members of the Orthodox Church. In 1853, Russia demanded that the Ottoman government sign in citizens. This would effectively have allowed the Russians to accord guaranteeing the rights of its roughly 8 million Orthodox intervene in internal matters in the empire, where Orthodox worshippers were involved. Understandably, the Sultan rejected the demand. Russia responded by invading the Ottoman-controlled Danubian principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia. Britain and France opposed and feared Russian expansion in the region. The British were particularly anxious that Russia might have ambitions to make advances towards India. Possible Russian expansion in the Baltic towards Scandinavia and other areas of Western Europe was also a concern. The French and British intervention on the side of the Ottomans was symptomatic of efforts to maintain the balance of power in the East after the Treaty of Vienna of 1815. None of the powers was to be permitted to make territorial gains from the Ottoman Empire, and the major European powers formed coalitions to maintain the status quo. The aim of such a policy was to prevent war over the Ottoman territories. In this case, it failed, and the Crimean War of 1853 to 1856 was fought between the Ottoman Empire, France and Great Britain in one corner and Russia in the other, and the theater of war was the Russian territory of the Crimea. The war was won by the Ottoman, French, and British coalition and ended with the 1856 Treaty of Paris, by which the signatories agreed to respect the territorial integrity of the Ottoman Empire. The Black Sea was made neutral and warships were banned from its waters. The treaty represented a severe setback for Russian ambitions in the region, but the war's legacy was one of nationalism, as many of the Balkan states began to agitate for autonomy. Russia declared war on the Ottoman Empire again in 1877, during what became known as the Great Eastern Crisis. Anti-Ottoman rebellions erupted in Bosnia in 1875 and Bulgaria in 1876. Although the Bulgarian revolt was suppressed swiftly and ruthlessly by the Ottomans, Russia, keen to support Balkan independence movements in order to secure influence in the region, responded with a declaration of war. The Ottomans were forced out of Bulgaria, and in 1878, the Russians captured Adrianople, modern-day Edirne. Britain was preparing to go to war in order to protect its Middle Eastern ambitions when the German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, 1815-98, intervened, convening the Congress of Berlin to discuss the Ottoman Empire. In effect, the European powers used this conference to divide the empire up amongst themselves. The Ottomans lost Serbia, Montenegro, Romania, and part of Bulgaria, which all became independent. The eastern Anatolian regions of Kars and Batum were awarded to Russia, while Austria was given Bosnia. Britain took Cyprus as a base to look after its interests in that part of the Mediterranean.